I need to speak to Caesar!
The way I approached Caesar in Rise of the Planet of the Apes was from, unlike a character like King Kong, I always approached Caesar like a human in ape skin, in the sense that he was brought up by will and for all intents and purposes when he was a child believed he was human until his teenage. So in all the choices in terms of creating, of course you do a lot of work and research into chimpanzee behaviour and so on. But it was always, and I based him on a real chimpanzee called Oliver, who in the 1970s was he was actually a real chimp who was brought up with humans, who was known as the humanzee. People believed he was the progeny of, he was transgenic, potentially half ape, half human. Really, what Caesar is all about is empathy. He is perhaps the only character I think who can see the potential of making things from the ape side, who wants to make things work. So it was very important, I suppose, to base the character on a leader who is capable of empathy, and there aren't that many in the world, I don't think.
Apes! Together! Strong!
One of the most important and biggest challenges really of the whole the rehearsal process and leading up to shoot. As I say, Matt wanted to drop in at a period of time where they weren't fully evolved, where they weren't sitting around having philosophical conversations, where you still could enjoy the evolution. But with that came the challenge of course they were going to be speaking in this film, and how do you make that feel real? How does it actually, in terms of the internal logic of the piece, how does that work? So we worked very closely. All of the actors playing apes. There was a lot of improvisation. There was an ape camp, so to speak, in the sense that there was a lead up in rehearsal to working out how they would work as a group.
Don't mean any harm!
It is about empathy. It's about family, and it's about prejudice, really. I think ultimately, prejudice on both sides, and how both sides deal with the other, and how they manage that prejudice. We're trying to push the boundaries in different ways in the live theatrical arena as well, because performance capture is, as I say, at the end of the day, it's a technology. It's a bunch of cameras filming a performer's performance.
Yes, family. Future.
Let's bring up, first of all, Carol Jamie, who is a journalist, author and broadcaster who specialises in evolutionary psychology, and Volker Sommer, who is a professor of evolutionary anthropology at University College London. So come and join us, guys. Hello, hello.
I like the fact that Caesar's character has developed as much as he has, and the fact that he's taught the other apes sign language, that's all credible.
Films like this can actually be great gospels to awaken us to the fact that there is a very, very serious cause which we may want to take up. And that's actually why I support stuff like this. I think while it looks like fantasy, it's not very far from reality.
Just made me realise, of course we are 97% the same genetically. There is very, very little difference between, and I mean, some of my best friends are apes, and exactly. So it really does chime in. I mean, what you're saying makes perfect sense.
One really has to point out that human societies have been studied since thousands of years, and there are records of that, while wild ape societies, since 50 years, since our famed and rightly famed Jane Goodall went out to Tanzania and started to literally live with wild apes, there are about maybe 8 or 10 groups, small communities of apes, where we know what's going on.
I sort of become this de facto sort of spokesperson for performance capture technology, mostly because I suppose I've done more than most other actors. But it has to be said that it's proliferating at a fantastic rate, and I welcome it with open arms.
Thanks to the great apes that are Carol and Andy and Volker.
There must be another way. Caesar! War has begun.